Hello students, welcome to the next lecture on the classification of the partial differential equation. Today I will explain you the 15 plus examples as well as the CSIR net and the gate questions in this video as well. Myself Dr. Harish Garg, you can follow and subscribe my YouTube channel where you can find the playlist of the partial differential equations. The last two lecture was on the about the second order partial differential equations and the three different methods how you can classify the second order PD. Now, in this lecture, as I mentioned you in our previous lecture, we have defined the concepts and the classification of the second order PD. The journal form of the second order PD with the two independent variable is given in equation number 1, where the coefficients A, B, C and so on are the functions of the x and y, and the highest derivative occurring in the equation number 1 must be of order 2. Clear? Then we can define the discriminant. We can find the discriminant of the second order partial differential equation, which I denoted by delta, is called as b square minus 4ac, where b is the coefficient of the del square u by del x del y, and similarly for the a and c. I can classify the given partial differential equation into the three different methods, which are classified as using the sign of the b square minus 4ac, that is the sign of the discriminant, by using the determinant methods, and by using the eigenvalue method. The detailed concepts of these three methods I already explained in my last lecture, classification of the second order, three different methods. तो आप वहां जाके सुन सकते हो आप. Now, the first method is how we can classify the given PD based on the sign of b square minus 4ac. Is said to be elliptical whenever it's less than 0, parabolic whenever the sign of b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, and hyperbolic whenever it is greater than 0. The other two methods are, in order to apply the method number 2, that is the determinants and the eigenvalue. आप सबको पता है determinants और eigenvalue आप कब निकाल सकते हो? Whenever you have a square matrix always. Fine. So first of all, your target is whatsoever the given partial differential equation is given to you, you have to write the matrix A. And the beautiful property of this matrix A is it is always symmetric. Fine. And how you can write? अगर तो आपने ये previous lecture सुना हुआ है तो आपको easily पता लग गया है कैसे लिखना है. Otherwise, I will tell you once. I will explain you with the help of 15 plus examples. Then we can apply the determinant methods. We can calculate the determinants of the matrix A, which is my always n cross n. Whenever the determinant is greater than 0, we call as elliptic, and so on for the hyperbolic and the parabolic. On the other hand, for the eigenvalues, if all the eigenvalues are of the same sign, that is either all are positive or all are negative, then we call as elliptic. At least one of them will be 0 is called as a parabolic. Whenever some of the eigenvalues are negative, but negative must be of the odd number of times, then we call as the hyperbolic. And whenever the eigenvalues are negative for the even number of times, like of -1, -2 and 3, you can see they are the even number of times eigenvalues are negative, then we call as the ultra hyperbolic. But make sure students, one of the most important remark, अगर आप ये रिमार्क को मिस कर देते हो तो आपका CSIR नेट और गेट में आपके ऑप्शंस गलत हो जाएंगे. फाइन. whenever you have more than two variables in the partial differential equation, then the determinant methods as well as the first method b square minus 4ac is not appropriate to classify the partial differential equation. In that case, we can always find only and only third method, that is the eigenvalue method, to classify the PD. So for example, let's start with the 15 plus example. First of all, you can compare the example number 1 with the standard partial differential equation and compute the value of A, B and C. So can you compare? The value of the A will be 1, B will be -4, C will be 2. Now because how many independent variables? Independent variables are only 2, x and y. तो आप तीनों में से कोई भी मेथड अप्लाई कर सकते हो. फाइन. you can apply any one of the method because the number of the variables are not more than 2. So if I apply the first method, b square minus 4ac, so what is the answer? If you calculate the b square, 16 minus 4ac, which is 8, greater than 0, and whenever b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, we call as hyperbolic. Therefore, the given partial differential equation is hyperbolic. If I apply the second methods, I have to write the determinants, I have to write the matrix. How many independent variable? 2 independent variable. So it's a 2 cross 2 matrix. So how you can write that? It's a x and y, x and y. What is the coefficient of the x and x? What is the coefficient of the x and x is 1. Similarly, y and y. What is the coefficient of the y and y is 2. Because the matrix is always matrix, what is the coefficient of the x and y? Minus 4. So because of the symmetric, I can half of the minus 4 and minus 4. Minus 4 on the two sides. What is the determinants? 2 minus 4, which is my less than 0. And whenever the determinant is less than 0, you can say your given partial differential equation is my hyperbolic. So by using the second method, again you will get the same result. If I found the eigenvalues, so clearly say eigenvalue will be lambda square minus trace, fine, and you will see your eigenvalues are 2 and minus 1, and clearly say there are the odd number of the eigenvalues are negative. Therefore, the given partial differential equation is again hyperbolic. Chaliye, look at the second one. Can you compare the value of the a, b and c? A will be 1, b will be 4, c will be 4. What is the b square minus 4ac? Which is equal to 0. And once is a 0, we call as the parabolic. Similarly, for the third case, if you calculate the a, it is a 2, b will be 4, and c will be 3. What is the value of the b square minus 4ac? B square is 16 minus 24, which is my less than 0. And whenever the b square minus 4ac is less than 0, we call as elliptic partial differential equation. आप इन दोनों मेथड्स के ऊपर सेकेंड मेथड एंड थर्ड मेथड अप्लाई करके देखोगे, आंसर विल बी द सेम. चलिए, फाइंड द रीजन वेयर द पार्शियल डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन इज पैराबोलिक, हाइपरबोलिक एंड इलिप्टिक. आप जैसा देख पा रहे हो इसमें जो कोफिशिएंट्स हैं, ऑल द कोफिशिएंट्स आर माय कांस्टेंट. फाइन. सो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द कांस्टेंट? सो इफ आई से my given partial differential is elliptic, then if somebody will ask you at the point 1 comma 2, what is the nature of the third partial differential equation? Because these are my constant, so it is again elliptic. What about the nature at the 0 and minus 3? Again elliptic. That means for all x and y, the nature of the partial differential equation remain the same. While whenever your coefficients are my not constants, that means for some value of the x and y, the given PD may be elliptic, while for the other values of the x and y, it may be hyperbolic, while for some another value of the x and y, it may be parabolic, or while for some another value of the x and y, it is called as the ultra hyperbolic. फाइन. तो अगर वो कांस्टेंट नहीं है, देन इट मे बी एनी वन ऑफ देम. तो यही पूछ रहा है, फाइंड द रीजन वेयर द गिवन इक्वेशन इज इलिप्टिक, पैराबोलिक और हाइपरबोलिक. सो कैन यू कंपेयर द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन विद द स्टैंडर्ड वन? व्हाट इज माय a? A is my 1, b is equal to y, c is equal to x. Fine. Then what is the value of the b square minus 4ac? That will give you y square minus 4x. Is it okay? Now when it will be elliptic? So condition for the elliptic is b square minus 4ac must be less than 0. What is the parabolic? Parabolic, whenever y square minus 4x must be 0. And it is hyperbolic whenever y square minus 4x must be greater than 0. Fine. Or you can say y square is less than x, that is a inside parabola. Y square is equal to 4x is my parabola. This is on the boundary of the parabola, and this is outside of the parabola. Fine. Again, you can see all these three questions. How many independent variables? independent variables are only 2. So you can apply any one of the method. Look at the second example. A will be x square, B will be 0, C will be -1. What is the value of the B square minus 4AC? That is my plus 4x square. Fine. So that means when it will be elliptic. elliptic कब होना चाहिए? जब ये लेस देन 0 आएगा. लेकिन 4x square can never be less than 0. Therefore, there does not exist any x such that the given PD is my elliptic. Parabolic कब होगा? Parabolic only when it will be 0. That means x is equal to 0 is the point where it will be elliptic. But for what value of the y? क्योंकि आपके इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल 2 है ना. So any value of the y, that is a 0, y corresponding to the parabolic nature. और hyperbolic कब होगा? Whenever 4x square must be greater than 0. That means whenever x is my greater than 0. y नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है, y पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है. That means we can say whenever the mode of x, because it's x square, mode of x must be greater than 0, then we can say it is elliptic, or is a hyperbolic, otherwise elliptic. Similarly, for the third case, you can compare the value of the a, b and c and then calculate. You will get b square minus 4ac. So elliptic कब होगा? Whenever 4 minus 4xy is less than 1. Hyperbolic, parabolic. So parabolic it will be 0, or you can say ये कितना हो जाएगा? 4 will be 3 by 4 is less than of the xy. It implies, sorry, it will be less than 0, not as a 1. Fine. तो आपके पास क्या हो जाएगा? xy must be greater than 1, xy is equal to 1, और यहां पे क्या होना चाहिए? xy must be less than 1. तो xy क्या है आपके पास? रेक्टेंगुलर हाइपरबोला. चलिए, look at the next one. Classify the given PD. So if you compare them, A will be your 1 minus x square, B will be your minus of 2xy, C will be your 1 minus y square. Clear? Then can you compute the b square minus 4ac? Substitute the value. B square 4x square y square minus 4 into 1 minus x square 1 minus y square. If you open the bracket, 4x square into y square will be cancelled out. So that will give you the 4x square plus 4y square minus 4. Clear? Now if you take 4 as a common, fine. And when it will be elliptic? Whenever 4 times x square plus y square minus 1 must be less than 0. Parabolic when it is equal to 0. And hyperbolic when x square plus y square minus 1 must be greater than 0. That implies x square plus y square is less than 1. That means inside the circle, inside the unit circle. Fine. Parabolic means on the boundary of the unit circle, and hyperbolic means whenever it is outside the unit circle. Chaliye, now based on this concept, can you solve this CSIR net question in the 15 seconds? What is the A? A is my x square, B is equal to 2xy, C is equal to minus 3y square. So can you calculate the b square minus 4ac? So clearly say it's a 4x square y square plus 12x square y square. That comes to be 16x square y square. Elliptic, elliptic का मतलब ये less than होना चाहिए, तो लेकिन कभी भी less than नहीं होगा, so elliptic will be cancelled out. When it will be parabolic? When it is 0, only when either x will be 0 or y will be 0, but the domain is both are my positive, so parabolic is also cancelled. Hyperbolic, when it will be hyperbolic? Hyperbolic only when it is strictly greater than 0. When it will be strictly greater than 0, that means x square y square must be greater than 0. That means whenever x and y, product of the x and y is non-zero, then it is hyperbolic, correct option. And parabolic only whenever xy is a 0, but यहाँ पे not equal to है, so the right answer is C. That is the third option is the right answer of the problem. Look at the next one. Can you classify which of the following is not parabolic? That means आपको ये चेक करना है किसका आंसर 0 नहीं आएगा. Fine. So first case, b square 4x square y square minus 4x square y square which is 0. तो पहला ऑप्शन तो आपका पैराबोलिक हो गया, but we are talking about the not, so first option will be cancelled out. Look at the second one, b square minus 4ac. No, पहला ऑप्शन गलत कर दिया मैंने. Why? Because in the first case, what is the a? A is my coefficient of the uxx, so a will be 0. Fine. What is the b? Coefficient of the x and y. B is my x square and c will be coefficient of the uyy. Fine. अब आप देखो b square minus 4ac कितना है आपका? It is my x की power 4 which is not always 0 for all. Remember for all. तो it is not a parabolic. Fine. तो आपका अगर नॉट ए पैराबोलिक है तो ये ऑप्शन आपका करेक्ट हो गया. बच्चों ध्यान रखना, आपको कंपेयर, मैंने गलती कर दी थी ना, आपको नहीं गलती करना अभी. फाइन. कंपेयर ऑलवेज, तो इसलिए जब भी आप स्टार्ट करो एक बार लिखकर प्रैक्टिस करनी है जरूर आपको भी. चलिए सेकंड वाला तो 0 है, इससे पैराबोलिक. थर्ड वन 4x square y square minus 4x square y square which is again 0. Yes, it is a parabolic. Look at the last case. It's a 4x square y square minus 4x square y square is a 0, is again the parabolic. So right answer is A is the correct option. Classify the partial differential equations. How many independent variables you have? There are the 3 independent variable x, y and z. इसका मतलब जो आपका मेथड 1 है, मेथड 1 b square minus 4ac is not applicable. Method number 2 by using the determinant method is not applicable. Method number 3 that is the eigenvalue is my applicable. Fine. So you have to apply the eigenvalue method. So for that I have to write as a matrix. It is a 3 cross 3 matrix. Fine. Now how you can write as a matrix? There are the independent variable x, y and z. X, y and z. What is the coefficient of the x and x? First example के लिए x and x is 1, y and y coefficient is 1, z and z coefficient is 1. What is the coefficient of the x and y in the first example? 0. So y and z also 0, z and x is also 0 and so. So can you find the eigenvalues? Clearly say the eigenvalues are my 1, 1 and 1 and all are same sign. Fine. तो अगर सेम साइन है तो कौन सा नेचर होता है आपके पास? दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द इलिप्टिक पार्शियल डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन. लुक एट द सेकंड एग्जांपल. हाउ मेनी इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स? यू हैव द 4 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल x, y, z एंड t. फाइन. तो सबसे पहले इसको लेफ्ट साइड पे ले जाओ. इट इज 0 जैसे मैंने यहां लिखा है. फाइन. देन योर टारगेट इज टू फाइंड अ 4 क्रॉस 4 मैट्रिक्स. तो लिखो x, y, z and t. x, y, z. आप यहां पे ऑर्डर कैसे भी लिख सकते हो, पहले y फिर x फिर z और t लिख सकते हो. जैसा ऑर्डर आप यहां लिखोगे x, y, वही ऑर्डर ऊपर लिखोगे आप. What is the coefficient of the x and x? 1. Coefficient of y and y is 1. Coefficient of z and z is 1. It is 1 over c square. Coefficient of the coefficient of the x and y 0, 0, 0. Because of the symmetric, it is my 0. Fine. तो आपके पास मैट्रिक्स बन गई. So can you find the eigenvalues? It's a diagonal matrix. Eigenvalues are my minus 1 over and we know c square is always positive, so that number is always negative. So how many negative values? एक ही नंबर आया ना नेगेटिव, that is my odd number. तो जब भी odd number नेगेटिव आ गया तो that is called as hyperbolic partial differential equation. Look at the third one. Again you have the 4 independent variables. I can start with the matrix again. It's a 4 cross 4. Coefficient of the x, y, z and t. Coefficient of the x, y, z and t. Coefficient of the x and x 1. Coefficient of the y and y 1. Coefficient of the z and z is 1. Coefficient of the t and t is 0. बच्चों यहाँ पे देखो ये इससे ut है, utt नहीं है आपके पास. फाइन. और बाकी सब x और y लिखा नहीं हुआ तो that will be my 0. So what are the eigenvalues? Can you find the eigenvalues? सो 1 1 1 एंड 0, तो एक आइगन वैल्यू आपको 0 मिल गई. दैट मीन्स द गिवन पार्शियल डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन इज क्लासिफाइड एज ए पैराबोलिक. चलिए लुक एट द नेक्स्ट वन. हाउ मेनी इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स? नाउ देयर आर द 3 इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स, so only the eigenvalues method will be applicable. X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Fine. तो लगाओ coefficient of the X and X 1, coefficient of the Y and Y 1, coefficient of the Z and Z 1, coefficient of the Y and Z because of the symmetric इसका हाफ कर देना है 2/2 और Y and Z और Z and Y. फाइन. और बाकी वैल्यू दे नहीं रखी, दैट विल बी माई 0. सो कैन यू फाइंड द आइगन वैल्यूज? क्लियरली से एक आइगन वैल्यू तो 1 होगी. फाइन. ये जॉर्डन ब्लॉक की तरह बन गया ना आपके पास. फाइन. सो आइगन वैल्यूज आर माई 1 और इसकी 2/2 की मैट्रिक्स है. रो सम आपका 2 आ रहा है, तो दूसरी आइगन वैल्यू 0. अदरवाइज यू कैन फाइंड द आइगन वैल्यूज बाय यूजिंग a माइनस लैम्डा आई इज इक्वल टू 0. मैं आपको करके दिखा देता हूं क्विकली से. a माइनस लैम्डा आई करो. 1 minus lambda 0 0 0 0 1 minus lambda 1 1 1 minus, तो you can find it into 1 minus lambda square minus 1 is equal to 0. तो यहां से एक तो ये चीज 0 हो गई एंड 1 minus lambda square is equal to 1. यहां से आगे आपके पास lambda is 1, इसको प्लस माइनस हो जाएगा. Fine. So that implies either the lambda is my 2 or lambda is my 0. So 1, 2 and 0 are the eigenvalues. So अगर एक eigenvalue आपको 0 आ गई, that means the given partial differential equation is my parabolic. उम्मीद करता हूं बच्चों आप वीडियो को लाइक और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर करोगे. चलिए इसको पहले लेफ्ट साइड पे ले जाओ. और हाउ मेनी इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स? 3. So can you write the matrix? X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. X और X 1, Y and Y 2, Z and Z 1, X and Y हाफ कर दो इसका -1 -1, Y and Z हाफ कर दो -1 -1. Rest values are my 0. Fine. So how you can find the eigenvalue? I can start with the a minus lambda I is equal to 0. So that will be 1 minus lambda -1 0 -1 2 minus lambda -1 and so on. So can you find the determinants? It's a 1 minus lambda into 2 minus lambda 1 minus lambda -1 minus plus 1 into minus of 1 minus lambda into 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. Fine. अब you can see I can take 1 minus lambda is my common. इसकी ब्रैकेट खोल दो. So that will be 2 minus 3 lambda plus lambda square minus 1. 1 minus lambda will be common. It's a -1. Fine. So that implies 1 minus lambda. 2 and 2, that 2 will be cancelled out. Lambda will be common. Lambda -3. So what are the eigenvalues? Eigenvalues are my 0, 1 and 3. So one of the eigenvalues 0. Fine. One of the eigenvalues 0. Therefore, the given PDE is my parabolic. Chaliye look at that. GATE 2021 or 2011. What is my A? Coefficient of the x square. B, minus of x y square -1. C, y into y -1 square. So b square minus 4ac x square. Fine. Minus 4a into c. Fine. So I can take an y -1 whole square common, x square common. So अंदर क्या रह गया? y plus 1 whole square minus 4 into y. तो जैसे आप ब्रैकेट खोलोगे दैट विल बी y माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर. तो ये क्या बन जाएगा? ए स्क्वायर प्लस बी स्क्वायर प्लस 2ab. तो जैसे करोगे y -1 होल स्क्वायर हो जाएगा. दैट इंप्लाइज एक्स स्क्वायर y -1 की पावर 4. इज इट ओके? अब आप बताइए ये हाइपरबोलिक कब होगा? हाइपरबोलिक तब होगा जब ये वैल्यू साइन होगा ग्रेटर देन 0. तो पहली बात x आपका 0 नहीं होना चाहिए और y आपका 1 भी नहीं होना चाहिए. फाइन. तो x is non-zero, y is equal to non-zero is the required answer. बिकॉज अगर y आपका 1 हो गया तो ये आपका आंसर कितना हो जाएगा 0. अगर ये 0 हो गया आपके पास तो ये पैराबोलिक हो जाएगा. फाइन. तो ये भी पैराबोलिक हो जाएगा, ये भी पैराबोलिक. तो आंसर इज ओनली सी इज द राइट आंसर. अदरवाइज आपको यहां तक सॉल्व करने की जरूरत नहीं है. फाइन. आप इन्हीं ऑप्शन में फिल कर लेते हैं. लेट्स से y इज इक्वल टू 1. जैसे y 1 होगा तो ये आंसर कितना हो गया आपका 0. दैट मीन्स इट्स अ पैराबोलिक. x इज इक्वल टू 0 लेंगे, अगेन इट विल बी द 0, अगेन इट्स अ पैराबोलिक. x इज इक्वल टू 0 और y इज इक्वल टू 1, अगेन इट्स अ पैराबोलिक. द ओनली ऑप्शन c इज द पेंडिंग. The partial differential equations, so I can find the b square minus 4ac. Find b square. What is the b? X minus y whole square minus 4ac minus minus plus 4xy. If you open the bracket, it will be x square plus y square minus of 2ab. So that will be plus of 2ab. That implies x plus y whole square. अब आप देखो ये हाइपरबोलिक कब होना चाहिए, जब ये नंबर ग्रेटर देन 0 आएगा. पर अलोंग द लाइन x प्लस वाई इज इक्वल टू 0, तब तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, इट्स अ पैराबोलिक. द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन विल बी कैंसल. whenever x minus y is equal to 0, x minus y is equal to 0 implies x is equal to y. So whenever x is equal to y, that gives you the 4x square. It can never be less than 0. इलिप्टिकल के लिए लेस देन चाहिए ना, तो ये तब भी कैंसिल हो गया. Elliptic when x plus y is equal to 0. Whenever x plus y will be 0, that is equal to 0. Therefore, it is my parabolic. So the last case is a parabolic is the right answer of the problem. चलिए, if the partial differential equation is a parabolic in the s but not in the r square minus s, find the reason s. So I think it's a very simple. Can you calculate the b square minus 4ac? What is the b? B is my 0 because there is a no coefficient of the x and y. Minus 4a into c. C will be minus minus plus y minus 2 whole square. Clear? Now when it will be the parabolic? Parabolic के लिए क्या होना चाहिए आपके पास? b square minus 4ac must be 0. So when it will be 0, either x will be 1 or y will be 2. दोनों में से कोई एक कंडीशन हो जाए तो इसका मतलब s क्या हो गया आपके पास, collection of all those elements of the x and y such that either x is equal to 1 or y is equal to 2. So that means in this case on this s is a parabolic और इसके बाद ये कभी भी 0 नहीं बनेगा. That is not a parabolic. चलिए, find the quadrant in which the partial differential equation is hyperbolic. क्लियर? तो बी स्क्र माइनस 4ac लगा देते हैं. बी स्क्र माइनस 4ac. बी विल बी 0, ए विल बी माई y, सी विल बी माई x. सो दैट इज माई माइनस 4xy. फाइन. फॉर द हाइपरबोलिक वी ऑलवेज नीड टू बी ग्रेटर देन 0. तो ये ग्रेटर देन 0 कब आएगा, ओनली वेन एवर एक्स वाई इज लेस देन 0. तो अगर आपका ये क्वाड्रेंट है तो x इंटू वाई लेस देन 0 कब किस में आएगा, एक तो इसमें आएगा. फाइन. इसमें y पॉजिटिव है, x नेगेटिव, और दूसरा फोर्थ में आएगा. तो दैट मीन्स इन द सेकेंड एंड द फोर्थ क्वाड्रेंट इट विल बी माई हाइपरबोलिक. अगर आपसे इसमें इलिप्टिक पूछ लिया जाता तो इलिप्टिक कब होता, वेन एवर माइनस ऑफ 4xy इज लेस देन 0. दैट मीन्स xy मस्ट बी ग्रेटर देन 0. तो उस केस में आपके पास फर्स्ट एंड थर्ड क्वाड्रेंट हो जाता. और अगर आपसे पैराबोलिक पूछ लिया जाता तो पैराबोलिक कब होगा, इधर x is 0 और y is equal to 0. That means either the y axis or the x axis is the parabolic line. चलिए, look at that. Classify the PD is a sigma function. So we can start with the b square minus 4ac. b square minus 4ac. तो क्या बन गया, 4 से 4 कैंसल. It will be 4 sigma function of the y. फाइन. तो सिग्मा फंक्शन क्या होता है आपके पास, अगर मैं x के लिए लिख के दिखाऊंगा आपको, सो दैट विल बी माइनस एक्स वेन एवर एक्स इज लेस देन 0, 0 वेन एवर एक्स इज 0, and positive x whenever x is greater than 0. तो इसके रिस्पेक्ट में ये क्या हो जाएगा, either the -4, 0 or +4 depending whether the y is less than 0, y is equal to 0 and y greater than 0. So classify the PD. इसका मतलब whenever y is less than 0, y less than 0 किस क्वाड्रेंट में हो गया, that is the third and the fourth quadrant. x की कोई भी वैल्यू हो तो आपके पास गिवन PD क्या हो जाएगी, x is a negative, negative means elliptic, y is equal to 0, y is equal to 0 implies x-axis, on the x-axis my given partial differential equation is parabolic, and whenever y is greater than 0, y is greater than 0 implies first and the second quadrant, the given PD is my hyperbolic. Fine, that means elliptic in the third and fourth, hyperbolic in the first and second, and so. Chaliye, look at the next one. Can you solve this by own? Let me know your answer in the comment box. Fine, देखते हैं कितने लोगों को इसका आंसर समझ में आया. You can solve it, you can pause the video and let me know whether the answer of the A, B, C, D, which one is the correct answers. These questions are an exercise for you. You can put your answer in the comment box, like you can write in this manner. A, it is my elliptic. Fine. B, whatsoever your answer. C, whatsoever your answer. A, B, C, D, E, F, and let me know your answer in the comment box so that I can understand you have able to learn the concept deeply. We will see the next lecture on the PY question series, more lectures on the CSIR net and the gate. Till then, you can like and comment on the videos. Best of luck, students. Happy learning.